Okay, welcome everyone. And today I'll be talking about collaborative virtual reality environment module for active shooter response and training. So in recent years, we have seen a sharp increase in active shooter events, and there have been no introduction of kind of a new technology or new tactics capable of increasing preparedness and training for active shooter events. And of course, we know it's impractical to carry out live experiments with thousands of people and ask them to evacuate and try to create an emergency and try to do a real-time evacuation drill. So as I said, it's not practically possible to create a real-time emergency with fire and smoke and ask people to evacuate. But on the other hand, if you look into virtual reality or multi-user virtual reality environment, you can think about having a lot of people together in a setting, and as long as the environment feels real, there's a sense of presence inside the environment, you're more likely to gather real-time data on how humans are likely to behave in emergency situations. You can try different what-if situations and so on. So this image is actually taken from the 9/11 picture, where the entire staff calmly and safely evacuated the building on the 9th floor, which was a success they attributed directly to the customized planning and drills. So as I said, one possible way is to create a multi-user environment or a collaborative virtual reality environment that gives a full immersive feel of the situation to the user. And then you can use that platform to perform different what-if experiments, and even role play is pretty much possible that way. So you can, of course, answer a lot of questions. There are a few of them I've listed. How accurately can the simulation be in terms of real-time emergency scenarios? And again, if you are entering the environment as a user-controlled agent, there has to be AI control agents also, or AI agents or NPCs. So in our case, we have implemented different behaviors for NPCs, for AI agents. So there could be hostile agents, non-hostile agents, and you can choose a number of them before you actually enter the environment: selfish agents, self-restrict agents, leader-following agents, and so on. So that is one way. So of course, conventional ways of testing, kind of, you have to look into the safety issues. There are risks along with it. There are, of course, legal aspects. As I said, if you create fire and smoke, IRB is not going to approve it in the first place. You're not going to have that experiment run in the first place. So the goal of this study was basically to verify the feasibility and designing of this collaborative environment, which could be used as a training bed for active shooter responses. So we have kind of included two kinds of agents, which are AI agents, where you have predefined rules for them to interact with the user control agents, so that they're not just interacting within themselves. So there are certain agents where, if you are a police officer, you can escort the people to a safe zone and assign a safe zone, and so on. And then you have user control agents, which are nothing but, if you are using MetaQuest, you are the user control agent inside the environment. And it's a multi-user environment, or you can call it a non-immersive environment as well, where you could use it as a gaming platform. So our contribution kind of lies in combining both these approaches to perform the virtual evacuation drills. So one of the main things is to look into situational awareness, which becomes very critical during emergency evacuation. So active shooter events are one of the most critical threats that require training in high pressure situations that people need to be trained onto it. So it's not like it's a skill that you learn through the book and you got it, right? So if you look into the different what-if situations, you can see in one scenario, let's say the active shooter was coming from the backside, and this time it's coming from a different entrance. And most of the people are at a different spot now as compared to the previous time. So you can create these situations, as well as you can also train the security personnel who are responding on campus to take care of the civilians, to take care of the active shooter, to take care of the injured. So there's a mix of a whole collaborative team that is responsible for taking care of the situation. Right? So And again, modeling human behavior becomes important. And when we talk about human behavior is unpredictable when it comes to making decisions in emergency situations. So it's very difficult to gather real-time data on how humans are likely to behave in those situations. So this platform kind of gives a way to gather that data. But again, I will again say that as long as the environment feels real and you feel as you're part of that environment, then you're more likely to gather more real-time data on how things could be improved within the building based on the performance or the human performance. Okay, so as I said, virtual evacuation drills are necessary to study human behavior under panic and stressful situations that cannot be evaluated in real-world conditions. And we all know virtual evacuation drills, they are more cost-effective, they take less setup time, they're able to simulate real dangers, and they have improved response time. So again, there are a lot of things, a lot of research questions you can look into when you're performing user studies, when people are trying to hide and people are trying to escape from the situation. How do random people trust each other? How does that form? How does leadership form with random people? So there are a lot of things to look into. These are just a few snapshots of that. So we have kind of created two kind of immersive modules. One is the occupant or civilian active shooter module, which is based on the Department of Homeland Security protocol, which is run hide and fight. And the second module is for training the security personnel on campus to take care of the situation, so which is again divided into 4 sub-modules, which is situational assessment, individual officer intervention, contact officer or team response, and then the final one is the rescue task force. So according to Homeland Security protocol, the first option, of course, is to run away from the situation as much as possible. So leave your belongings and try to run away and warn other people on the way. Second is, if you can't run away, then you hide and find a place, stop your devices and other things that could make noise, and lock the doors, close blinds, and turn off the lights. And the final option is the last option, where it's the last resort. There's nowhere else to go, and you are grabbed in a corner. So that's where you pick up maybe whatever furniture and whatever things are there inside the space and use it maybe together. If you are alone, then it's a different situation. But if there are people together, to collaborate and take care of the situation. So this was our initial phase 1, which was using MetaQuest, where we created we recreated a building on campus and then performed evacuation drills. Later on, this is a new building that we modeled. This was actually a huge building, and it took a long time to create a 3D model of that. So we basically started from scratch. So initially, the implementation of it kind of started for the 2D floor plan. We were lucky to get a floor plan from the campus authorities. Then we basically extruded the lines to walls, created doors, windows, added textures, so very manual, painful process. And considering the building, which you can see it's huge, even now, I won't say we have modeled the whole building. We have only modeled the pathways where most of the people are actually going to go. The more you model the building and the more detail you make, the worse it becomes when you take it to MetaQuest because of the frame rates. So the first aspect was developing it in Google SketchUp and 3ds Max. Then we took it into Unity, added more scripts for different behaviors, human behavior, as well as police sirens and other functionalities. Then we made it a multi-user environment, added Photon onto it. Photon is one of the Unity assets that helps in creating a multi-user environment. And by default, the free seed includes 20 people who can simultaneously enter the environment. And if you pay a small amount, then you can have 100 people simultaneously inside the environment. For us, I think 10 was a good number. We had 10 MetaQuest, so we were happy with that. And then we, as I said, we integrated the AI agents also as part of it. So let me see if I could, I would try to play something that was the first phase, and then I'll show you the next phase that was there. So this is picking up the controllers and seeing which one is the right hand and left hand. And you would probably see over here people hiding. And in the interest of time, I'll take it on to the last phase where you would be literally grabbing anything that is there in the environment and use it and throw it at the people. So I'll move on to the next one. So again, it's developed in Unity. It's a multi-user environment, so you enter as an agent. The smaller one is using the MetaQuest, and the first one is the non-immersive, where you can log in from a mouse and keyboard. And these videos are available on the lab website. So that's the John person who has entered the environment. And most of these people are NPCs. They have their own default behavior until the evacuation starts. Then they have different behavior depending upon if they are running to the exit or they are hiding. So I guess in the interest of time, I'll move forward. So for this, fortunately, we had some money that was given to us through some of the grants, and we were able to do a full-fledged study in different phases for this active shooter environment. The first phase, we had 80 participants. During the first phase, all participants were actually in the collaborative virtual environment, but it was a non-immersive one. That means nobody was using MetaQuest. In the second study, which had 115 participants, 2 users were on MetaQuest and 2 users were on non-immersive, but they were all there in the same environment together. And you can't find out inside the environment who's what, because you are just seeing the avatars from the other side. Okay. So we did a very thorough evaluation. We took a look into GEQ, Group Environment Questionnaire. We looked into Presence Questionnaire, System Usability Scale, Technology Acceptance Model, and we looked into a lot of things. So out here, this is kind of showing the changes in attitude for scores. And out here, it shows 43% of the respondents, they believe that smooth animation are necessary. So this means that less than half of the survey participants found smooth animation needed to be one of the important features. So this is looking into usefulness of VR environment to accomplish evacuation safety. So the results kind of show the active shooter response training's usefulness based on the gender, age, major, and academic classification. So in this, both male and female respondents found it useful, while males rated it slightly higher than females. All the older respondents found it much more useful as compared to the junior folks. Folks from computer science and health informatics major rated it most favorably as compared to the other majors. And the findings suggested that the response training environment effectively addressed the core user needs during the emergency situations. And the findings also suggested the participants' knowledge, intrinsic motivation, self-efficacy showed a significant increase immediately following the training. Most users felt a strong sense of presence when engaged with the immersive VR environment. And utilizing the immersiveness using MetaQuest increased or enhanced kind of their spatial awareness, and that kind of enhanced the self-efficacy also with that. So most users also felt the sense of presence increased when they were using immersive environment as compared to the non-immersive environment. So in conclusion, participants can enter the collaborative virtual environment set up on the cloud and participate in the evacuation drill or training situations which leads to considerable cost advantages over the large-scale real-life exercises. So this platform can be used as a teaching and educational tool, as well as mostly as a training tool to explore different what-if situations and train for those. And of course, virtual reality drills can also help to see how long it takes emergency responders to respond to certain locations and respond to emergency situations. So the data collected can be used to educate emergency personnel on how to reduce the response time, as well as emergency personnel and civilians can be trained in different what-if situations securely without being exposed to real dangers. So some of the references, grants. Thank you.